My name is Quinn and I'm turning 30 this year. My job is a recruiter. I work full time and I'm also a full time mom. My baby goes to daycare and she's more than 2 years old now. So we're hitting that little bit of a phase that she's developing. So I'm juggling between my full time job and being a full time mom. So her name is Jolene. We picked that name after the song that we like. I feel the joy of holding a baby so much. So I knew that I always like kids or babies in general. I do have a little bit of that baby fever, but I knew that I want to have a baby. The journey with her was definitely an interesting one. I basically, an immigrant myself, moved to Canada 8 years ago, went through a lot to, secure myself a full-time job that is in my field of study, and that's a lot of things that I have to went through, and it created a lot of stressor, so much stress that it changed my physical condition. So basically my doctor told me that it's really hard for me to be able to have a baby. You can try medication and all that, but for me that was a really bad news that I didn't want to take at that time, because what's the point? I knew that I wanted to be a mother since I was in grade 2 or 3. So why did I work so hard and ended up not getting my goal? So that was frustrating. But the doctor said you can take the medication, and all that, but I listened to my body. I waited a little bit longer before I took the medication, and luckily I didn't take it, because by the time I gave up and didn't care anymore, I was pregnant. So if I took the medication, we're not able to keep the baby. So my pregnancy, I'm definitely well prepared for it, but by the time she come out, for me, I'm like, oh my god, I thought I'm done here, but what do I do next? Where's the manual for this thing? Throughout my pregnancy, I have to inject insulin into my abdominal 3 times per day, and the baby turns out to be very small. So my husband and I worked really hard together to make sure we fit her enough and all that, and she definitely grew a lot. Like, she jumped the curve and she grew. I would say I'm still very lucky, even though it's just me and my husband here most of the time together, because our parents are still in Vietnam. Not like we're raising a baby with a village, but it's still a very smooth journey, I would say. It's nice to say sorry. If you do something wrong, you say sorry. If you make someone sad or hurt, you say sorry. Sorry? Sorry, May?
Sorry.
How do I feel having a baby now that I go through it? There's a lot of hard parts. But I think what's hardest is always the game in your mind when you think, what's enough? Do you provide too much or do you provide too little? Do you give them like a loving family? Do you give them the reality that, couples still fight? The joy is also there, like what I thought, and it's definitely even more because you can feel it. So definitely was interesting to have that, fun time with her, and then we transition into cuddling time, when we just, kind of hold each other, swing a little bit together, and she tells me that she's my baby, and she kissed me and all that. So those are nice things. And then we kiss each other goodnight, and when she was younger, we used to tell her this every night, is that we tell her that we love you to the moon and back. We love you as big as the world. And now, as she's turning, 2 something, she's able to say those things with us every night. So she's able to tell us that, we love you as big as the world, and we love you to the moon and back. Well, that was pretty amazing.